video I want to show you how you can use the curve pattern tool to create some interesting bold type effects like this, or circular patterns. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to open up a new document in Onshape. Okay, so I'm going to create a new document, call this one bold. Moment. Okay, wait for that to load up. Now we need to just make sure that our dimensions or work units are actually in millimeters. If you haven't done so already, then you need to change that in your preferences to make that the default one. Right, so I'm going to first of all start on the top work plane. I'm going to put a new sketch on that work plane. I'm going to start this by doing a circle that uses a center point for it. But I'm going to do this as a construction line, so I'm going to hit the construction line tool first. So we have these two units selected. I'm going to move to my center and draw out a circle that's going to be 30 millimeters. So as normal, the dialog box opens up, so then we can type in the value and press enter. So I now have a construction line circle at 30 millimeters diameter. Green tick that. Okay, so we're going to now draw a shape that intersects with that, that's going to start at this point, but on the front work plane. So I'm going to make sure I'm looking directly at the front. So that's the work plane selected. Select a new sketch. Okay, and I'm going to start it at the end of my construction line. Now I can see my construction line highlighted here, so that's where I'm going to start my line. So I'm going to take a spline tool for this one. Okay, there, and it's going to start there. Now can you see that as I move the mouse, the center of the origin is highlighted, and as I move to this way, my horizontal line is highlighted. It tells me when I've actually reached the end of the edge of the circle there, so I know that I'm actually hitting the right point there. So now I'm going to start drawing my arc. Just going to make sure I'm actually looking directly at that. So just going to draw a gentle arc coming up, like so. Not too bothered about the length for the minute, I just want a gentle arc, that'll do. Okay, there, click, and then press escape to finish it off. So now I have a construction circle on the top plane and then an arc drawn here that is going to form the profile for each of the lengths of the bowl there. Okay, right, green tick that. Now we need to now have a profile drawn here that's going to form this shape here. So we need to actually have a work plane drawn at this point here. So I'm going to click on the work plane tool here. Yeah, or you can right click. Yeah, you can right click and go to find it, but I'm going to go to the work plane tool here. Yeah, and I'm going to draw a plane point work plane, plane point. And the point I'm going to select is that point there. Okay. And the next thing I need to tell it is which one it's parallel to, and that's going to be parallel to the right work plane here. So I'm going to click on that, and that should give me a new work plane that hits that point there. Okay, there we are. Okay, so now I have a parallel work plane that is parallel to this work plane here, and it's intersects this point here. Okay, right. That's fine. The vertex of sketch 2, in other words. Green tick that. Okay, so this is now plane 1. So there's my right plane, and plane 1 is parallel to that. So if I click on right, I can see it flips around to that point. So now I need to draw my profile here, but it's going to be on the new work plane. So I'm going to do a new sketch. It's going to be on the new plane 1 work plane. Select the circle tool for my profile, that you could have a different profile. And it's going to start at the origin here, but it's in fact the start of my arc that I drew earlier. Okay, I'm going to give this a size of 6 millimeters. Okay, 6 millimeters diameter. So if we look at that, we've got our construction circle here. We've got the edge of the circle where the arc has started, And where those interact, we've now got a new work plane, and at that point we've drawn a profile circle that's going to follow this arc coming up here. Okay, so green tick that. So the tool we're going to use for this is the sweep tool. So we're going to click on the circle first, and then the sweep path, which is the arc that we've drawn there, and already we've got our shape starting to appear there. Okay, so green tick that. Okay, now how are we going to get it to go all the way around here? So we're going to use the pattern tool here, okay, which is this one here, sorry, that one. Looks a bit like a Rubik cube. Drop down the arrow and find the curve pattern tool, okay? So we're going to be using, the entity to use is this one here, so click on that. So the part pattern is that. The pattern that, the path that it's going to follow is going to be the construction circle here, and already we've got our first copy appearing here because the instance count is only on 2. So within 360 degrees there are only 2 instances of it. So if we increase this to 4, we now have 4 there. So that's 360 divided by 4 gives you 4 units, each at 90 degrees apart. Yeah. If we increase this to 10, we get a different effect. And if we increase this to 30, we get an even better effect there. So we're now getting quite a cool bowl appearing there for us. Okay. We can replace this circle in the middle, the construction circle, we can convert that to an ordinary line, then we can extrude it to give us the center of the circle. Just purely done there just to give us a void. Okay. So I'm going to go back to sketch 1, which is the circle there. Okay, that one here. I'm going to select that line, deselect the construction line, and now I have a solid shape there. I can then go to my extrusion tool here. I can extrude that shape up. Okay, so the curve I want to extrude is the original one down here, which it doesn't want to find. Let's see, it'll be sketch 1, that one there. That's what I wanted. Yep, there it is. Work now. Okay. And I can specify what I want it to do. I want it to do a solid shape there. Okay. So that's going to be sketch 1 there. Okay. There we go. And we can specify the height of it. So our bowl, each of the width of one of these was 6 millimeters. So if I set the depth of this to be 6 millimeters, yeah, that should give me a solid base on the bottom there. Now actually that's starting from the center, so we can do a different thing with the extrusion. Okay, we can do it symmetric. Okay, and that way it'll do 3 millimeters on one side and 3 millimeters on the other, which should take me 3 millimeters this way and 3 millimeters that way, so it's actually gone symmetrical about that center line there. That's given me a base at the bottom there. Okay. Now, if I want it to be added to the existing drawing, I would click Add, or I can have it as New, so it appears differently. So I have different controls over that part there. Okay. Green tick. And there we have our shape ready to go. Okay. Try it and let me see your images. Okay. Thank you.